Vince McMahon thinks he has it all figured out, but the WWE product is growing staler by the week, Roman Reigns as the champ is about as exciting as unwrapping a loaf of bread for Christmas, and Raw and SmackDown's ratings are so far down the toilet that even T.L. Hopper would have trouble getting them out. As the weather starts to get warmer, WWE must heat up their own product or else risk fading into oblivion. Forever. Hey everyone, I'm Andrew Socek with WhatCulture.com, and this is 10 things WWE must do this summer. Now this list could probably go to a million. For example, entry number 993,745 is bring back Sid Vicious and have him feud over the newly reinstated hardcore title with Norman Smiley and Ralphus. But let's just stick with 10. And coming in at number 10 is End the Authority Once and For All. 1997 was a long time ago. That was the first time we saw Vince McMahon in the role of the evil owner in the WWF. 1996 was even longer ago, and that's when we first saw Eric Bischoff join the New World Order and become the evil authority figure of that company. Despite wrestling thriving for decades without this trope, we are firmly stuck with the bad guy owners nearly 2 decades later. It was fun in its time, but you have to ignore too much logic. If Hunter and Stephanie really hate Roman that much, then either fire him or put him in matches he absolutely cannot win. Seriously, this is like Power Rangers level writing. Triple H and Steph are basically the Lord Zed and Rita Repulsa of wrestling. They could make every wrestler on the roster fight Roman at the exact same time, but instead they send in one at a time to be massacred. Why do they never learn? Besides that, the two can never keep their roles consistent. On Raw, Triple H is the power-hungry egomaniac owner, and on NXT, he's the happy father figure egomaniac owner. Steph likes to make life a living hell for the babyfaces on the roster, except when it comes to doing charity. It's just time to do away with this concept, and if not today, let's do it this summer. Number 9, they have to get Kevin Owens back on track. 2015 should have been the year of Kevin Owens. In his very first main roster match, he defeated John Cena cleanly. That's the equivalent to someone taking down Conor McGregor in their first UFC fight. You would think that alone would have been enough to keep him in the main events, but by the end of the year, he wasn't even Intercontinental Champion and had been reduced to being the target of fat jokes. Couldn't they have rehired Rikishi for that role? Ever since CM Punk left, the adult male fans no longer have a hero. Daniel Bryan may never wrestle again, Roman Reigns is only pissing them off, and Dean Ambrose's wacky time antics aren't going to cut it. Owens should have been that guy, but he apparently doesn't have the look that Vince McMahon loves. And hey, it's all about the muscular look, right? That's why Tom McGee, Nathan Jones, and Brockus all became world champs. Okay, so maybe not, but WWE is starving for stars, so let's forget these past few months have happened and just bring Owens back to the top. Because no one is really buying Sheamus in this role anyway, so let's just make this the summer of KO. Number 8, call up some more NXT talent. In professional wrestling, devastating injuries can happen at any time. That's why we'll never get to see Richie Steamboat on the main roster. It's a dangerous sport. So for that reason alone, it's best not to keep incredibly talented people in developmental. And with Raw and SmackDown stuck in a never-ending rerun of Suck, let's call up some names and get this thing going. Right now, Bayley, Samoa Joe, and Finn Balor are all ready to move up to the main roster. Right now. What more is there for them to accomplish in NXT? Sure, their characters will probably be more entertaining in that promotion, but WWE is a business. And for that business to make the most money, the best talent needs to be on the biggest shows. And no wrestler sets their career goals to stay in the minor leagues. There is simply way too much TV time to fill and not enough wrestlers. Hey, I like Dolph Ziggler, but right now I could probably go 5 years without hearing his music and be just fine. He doesn't need to be on every episode of Raw and SmackDown, so call up some people and spread the love. Fresh matchups, fresh promos, and less big show. It's a winning combination all around. Number 7, return Rusev to a monster heel. At WrestleMania 31, Rusev was a killer. Along with Lana, he rode to the ring on a freaking tank. By the end of the year, he turned from the Bulgarian Brute to the Canadian Cuddler. Okay, so I guess he's still Bulgarian. Perhaps no one had a rougher 2015 than Rusev, who was stuck in an awful storyline with real-life fiancée Lana, the attempted fiancé stealer Dolph Ziggler, and Summer Rae, who is just kind of there. By the time the angle was over, there was no way to take Rusev seriously as a top-level guy. An injury took him out of action for a bit, and he returned to be a background player in the devastatingly boring League of Nations. He needs to break out on his own again. He needs to stop being all kissy-wissy, and he needs to start beating people up. It's a simple formula, but it's an effective one that has worked throughout wrestling history. Because at this point, Rusev would look a bit silly on a tank, and would probably be better suited for a little tricycle with a horn on it. Number 6, it's time to dump some more announcers. Listen, JBL, Michael Cole, Booker T, Jerry Lawler, and Byron Saxton, it's not you, it's me. Wait, no, it is you. Get the hell out of here. We've had our good times together, but they've been mostly bad. Yeah, pretty bad. Mauro Ranallo has joined SmackDown, but mathematically speaking, that only fixes 1/5 of our problem? Even if you think the Raw and SmackDown teams are doing a decent job, which if you do, are you okay? The teams have been associated with a bad product for so long that it's simply time for them to go to freshen things up. Now, they're not going to get on the phone and call up Jim Ross and have him take over Raw again, by God. But at the very least, couldn't Corey Graves take over for JBL? Never having to hear Bradshaw say, wah, 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 again would be in itself a major victory.
Number 5. It's time to protect some heels. Every heel in WWE is awful at their job, since their job is to win matches, and that's not something they do very often. Just look at the bad guys side on the roster and you gotta feel bad for them. I mean, Rusev, Wade Barrett, Alberto Del Rio, Bray Wyatt, Bo Dallas, Adam Rose, The Ascension. There's not a single threat among them. These guys would have trouble winning an 8-man elimination tag match against second graders. It would be like watching the Nexus try and take down John Cena. Remember when Brock Lesnar was a heel? Those were some pretty good times. The man talked a big game and he backed it up in the ring. Watching Suplex City Brock, tossing everyone around, was far more entertaining than watching him get beat up by his boss in his mid-40s a couple years ago. Now, WWE briefly tried making Braun Strowman a monster, but gave up on that idea when they realized he couldn't wrestle a 2-minute match by himself. Doesn't mean they should give up on the idea entirely though, because a great villain makes a great babyface.
Number 4, sign more TNA talent.
Dixie Carter can sound excited for the future of TNA all she wants, but things really aren't going that well. The audience on Destination America was a fraction of what it was on Spike, and now they're on the former TV Guide channel. While I'm watching a match, they're telling me when reruns of Sanford and Son are going to be on. 2017 TNA will likely be aired on a local cable access channel near you. In 2015, James Storm and Samoa Joe joined NXT, which is a nice surprise, but there's still plenty more wrestlers to bring in who have the experience and fan base to immediately make the product more exciting. And no, I'm not actually talking about Cheeks and the Johnsons. Now, some of these men and women are still under contract, but shouldn't every wrestler get the chance to make good money for at least a couple years of their career? I mean, come on, Dixie, just have a heart and let them go if WWE is interested. Wrestlers who have never appeared in the company like Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, Rockstar Spud, and Zema Iron would all make solid additions to the main roster or NXT. Now sure, they could keep trying with Mojo Rawley and hope maybe someday down the line he won't be so annoying, like so annoying to the point that you want to put your own hand in a blender annoying, or they could reach out to others who did have a run with Vince before, like Drew Galloway, EC3, Eli Drake, and even Lashley, who deserve a second look. TNA is a pretty scummy acronym, but don't take it out on the men and women who work there, Vince. I mean, we don't still hold PMS, Beaver Cleavage, and the dicks against you.
Number 3, just give Dolph Ziggler some time off. As stated before, we've seen a lot of Dolph Ziggler the past few years. According to the North American Wrestling Rankings blog, the man has wrestled in 380 televised matches since the end of 2006. Second place is Sheamus with 325 matches. That is simply way too much of the show-off. Dolph often likes to brag about how handsome he is and how he steals our girlfriends, and he also enjoys shaking his butt in our faces. So why exactly are we supposed to like him? I mean, Dolph, I want to like you, but you make it so hard. What we need is some time apart. The whole absence makes the heart grow fonder thing. Just give the man the summer off, let him find his inner Dolph, and then bring him back when he's needed. Then he can come back with a new look and a new attitude, and he can steal my girlfriend whenever he feels like it. But Dolph, for now, it's not over between us. We need to go on a break, and we'll reevaluate things down the road. Number 2, break up every woman stable. Not since the legendary Gang Wars of 1997 featuring the Nation of Domination, Las Boricuas, and the Disciple of Apocalypse has a stable battle been so awful. Team Bad really is bad, and not like in the cool way, the bad way. WWE needs to break out Sasha Banks on her own, because there's money in her as a solo act. Naomi can do her own thing too, and Tamina can, I don't know, whatever she wants to do with her life off of TV. Becky Lynch as Charlotte's little gullible buddy isn't doing either one of them any favors, and the Bellas and Alicia Fox pairing has effectively run its course. The never-ending, meaningless tag team matches that have come out of this war between the three sides have been painful to sit through. It squeezes the very life out of you, like Bastion Booger sitting on your chest while eating pancakes. Once every woman is out on their own again, call it Bayley and let her do her thing with a variety of opponents. But let's just say this is a bump in the road for the Divas Revolution, and not think of it as the end. And the number one thing that WWE must do this summer, turn Roman heel. Roman Reigns as the top babyface in the company has been a long, pleasant dream of Vince McMahon for some time, but it's not working. Every top segment this guy's in, they don't even trust him to do his share of the talking. He just stands there and smiles and says, "Son," a lot. And when he's in the ring, the crowd chants for people that are decidedly not Roman Reigns, like Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. When Bret Hart was the face of the WWF, fans weren't chanting for Hulk Hogan. And when Hogan was on top, fans weren't chanting for Bob Backlund. So this is not good. Roman needs to look to his cousin The Rock for a career path. He was an annoying, pandering babyface that fans rejected, But it was his heel turn where he could let out his frustrations, and that got him over. He was so good that he was forced to turn back face. Babyface Roman is bland, like Lex Luger back in 1993, but without the neat bus. Or like John Heidenreich from 2006, but without the poetry. Okay, so that's probably a bit too far. I take that one back. Turning Roman heel now does not mean it's over for him. It's a transition that he can come out of stronger a couple years down the road. The fans have voiced their opinion, but will Vince listen? If not, he's got a cruel summer ahead of him. That's right, I quoted Bananarama, but they're about as entertaining as Roman is, so I feel justified. And that is the list. Sound off below with what you would like to see WWE do this summer. You can follow me along on Twitter at Andrew Socek, and I am Andrew with WhatCulture.com, and it is time to kick out.
And hey, while we have you, why not celebrate the relentless passage of time by buying What Culture's first ebook, The 100 Worst Wrestling Moments of 2015, written by Andrew Socek with a foreword from me. Only £3, it's currently the ranked #1 selling wrestling book on Amazon. Check the description for a link.